Good to Les Concorla, and I'm grateful to the Concorla's office for selecting this particular topical issue matter for this morning. It's a very important matter for discussion. It has been for many years a very important matter, but over the last 6 days it has become even more important in the context of the geopolitical issues that are occurring over in Ukraine. And can I just take this opportunity, Les Concorla, to express my complete revulsion and my outrage at what is being done by Russian forces to the people of Ukraine over the last 6 days, and to express my solidarity with every man, woman and child in Ukraine as well in terms of what is happening. And I hope that the glorified spiring that on Orwell Road that is known as the Russian Embassy, which I'm sure are listening to what's being said this morning, as they are every day, will very soon get their marching orders out of this country, never to come back. Minister, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you being here, but it is unfortunate that Minister Ryan isn't here to take this matter, because our energy security is something of utter importance right now and into the short, medium and long-term future. And we've seen throughout Europe that countries have, in the last 6 days, pivoted their positions in relation to energy security, changed their policies. We see in Germany, where the Green Party are in government, a decision made in recent days to now build LNG terminals, for example, issues that were not even on the table this time last week, are now being considered, and decisions have been made to change policy because of the over-reliance on gas coming from Russia all along, and because of the time it will take. And people now, I think, are starting to think realistically to transition to the renewable sources of energy that we all know are needed into the future. But there is time in the middle. There is a period during which I'm afraid that the lights will go out. And I am very concerned that our only policy here in this country for that transitional period seems to be one of complete denial, that we are going to effectively hope for the best and hope the lights don't go out. Well, we've had many, many amber alerts in relation to energy supply in recent times before this appalling situation in Eastern Europe kicked off. So what do we think is going to happen in the future? This is something that, as I said, is of critical importance to our entire country, to everybody on this island. And yes, our policy of denial is something that I feel will not work into the future. And I don't believe that a Joe Jacobs style policy of handing a candle out to every household in case the lights go out, like the iodine tablets years ago, which we think we probably might need again into the future now as well, is enough. We need something more concrete. We know that we have an application, for example, at the moment that is up for decision in relation to the building of an LNG terminal on the Shannon estuary. This is an opportunity for Ireland to try to safeguard some of our national energy security, and yet we have a duck our heads in the sand approach from government, as far as I can see it, in relation to what we do to keep the lights on in this country. We all want to move to renewables, but it's not as simple as that. It can't be done overnight. And the misinformation and the twist that has been put in relation to the Shannon LNG application, for example, and the overlooking of the renewable elements and the transitionary elements of that particular application, and the compatibility with future technologies in relation to that application, is something that's very concerning. And Minister, I would appreciate your response, and if those issues could be addressed, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Last Count Corley, and I thank Deputy Griffin for raising this very important issue around energy security, and I give the apologies on behalf of Minister Ryan, who couldn't be here this morning. And at the outset, let me reiterate the Irish Government continues to stand in full solidarity with the people of the Ukraine and with our EU partners. Ireland's support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity remains unwavering. We stand with the people of Ukraine and will work with the EU to provide continued support. And let me condemn the outrageous actions of Russia and Belarus in their aggression in Ukraine. This crisis has brought into sharp focus the EU and Ireland's reliance on fossil fuel imports. We must continue to accelerate the clean energy transition, focusing on energy efficiency and renewable energies. The European Commission is working closely with Member States to protect the resilience of Europe's gas security of supply. The Commission is also actively engaging with other countries to ensure sufficient and timely support of natural gas to the EU from diverse sources across the globe to avoid supply shocks, including those that could result in disruptions. Natural gas continues to flow and be traded normally, albeit at high prices. Lessons have been learned since the Russian gas crisis of 2006 to 2009 due to the adoption of an improved internal energy market in the European Union. Ireland sources roughly 1/4 of its gas from the Corrib gas field and 3/4 via the United Kingdom. The UK's gas supply comes mainly from indigenous supplies via pipeline from Norway and through imports of liquefied natural gas or LNG. In addition, the UK also imports via 2 gas interconnectors connecting the UK to Belgium and the Netherlands. Both the UK and Ireland both have far less reliance on Russian gas than other European countries. Analysis of the potential impact of a partial or complete curtailment of Russian pipeline gas supplies to Europe indicates that in the unlikely event of a disruption to Russian supplies, the result would be manageable for Europe. Ireland is a member of the International Energy Agency and is in continued consultation with our European and international partners to ensure energy security. Yesterday, Minister Ryan and his counterparts agreed to release 60 million barrels from oil reserves to show solidarity with Ukraine and to help maintain stability in global oil supplies. This is only the 4th time in the IEA's history that it has agreed to a release of strategic reserves, which demonstrates the international community's commitment to maintaining stability of energy markets and solidarity with Ukraine. Ireland holds 90 days demands of stocks of oil in line with its international commitments and intends to participate in the action. Ongoing conflict in the Ukraine region is likely to maintain pressure on European gas prices, with knock-on effects on electricity prices. Like Ireland, both the IEA and the EU have stressed that the current situation only further strengthens our collective resolve to accelerate the clean energy transition in line with the European Green Deal. Thank you, Dr.
Thanks, Minister. And again, look, you're sent in here as Minister of State to take this topical. I don't know why we do topicals, actually, if the line ministers actually aren't showing up. There isn't really much point. I've been in the situation before where I've had to answer for other ministers in the chamber, and really, there's no point me having a go at you here this morning. I would like to actually have had a decent discussion with the actual minister and try to get into some of the bones of the issue here this morning, but unfortunately that hasn't happened. I don't know why the minister isn't here, but I would like to say the cheese has moved. In the last 6 days, things have changed, and it is okay for governments to change policy when matters of fundamental change occur outside of our control. And yes, from what the response you gave me there, Minister, that you read, is I'm convinced that the heads are still very firmly buried in the sand, and the sand has gone into the brain now at this stage. And what I want to say is that Europe is so dependent on Russian gas that it is going to impact on this country. And we need to have options, and we need to be able to look at alternative sources while we get our act together in relation to renewable. And as long as we continue to deny that and to ignore that reality, we are at risk of the lights going out. And I was here 3 months ago in this chamber, and I said to Minister Smith on the night, because Minister Ryan wasn't here for questions that night either, don't blame the people of Kerry, don't blame us if the lights go out, because we have done everything we can to try to progress the Shannon LNG proposal, for example. It's going on now for years and years. I met the people of Ballylongford recently on Monday about this again. And again, there was hope there that at least now they will see sense. And now we're getting the same drivel back from officials in the department who seem to be completely wagging the dog here in relation to our energy policy. People who are living in a bunker, as far as I can see, who don't have any cop on in relation to our energy security. Can we please review this crazy policy before the lights do go out and before people are actually sitting in the dark and the cold in this country because of government's inaction and government's determination to ignore reality, please?
Thank you, Alaska Corla, and again thank Deputy Griffin for raising the very important matter of our energy security following the invasion of the Ukraine. And I hear the Deputy's considered views and opinions, and I'll certainly bring them to Minister Ryan's attention. The best way to secure our energy needs is to continue to promote energy efficiency and renewable energy. Climate Action Plan 2021 sets out us on a pathway to reduce our reliance on imported fossil fuels dramatically by 2030. Measures include the following: aiming for up to 80% of electricity coming from renewable sources by 2030, including an increase target of up to 5 gigawatt of offshore wind, 8 gigawatt from onshore wind, and 1.5 to 2.5 gigawatt from solar PV. 500,000 extra walking, cycling and public transport journeys per day by 2030, and increasing the proportion of kilometres driven by passenger electric cars to between 40 and 45% by 2030, in addition to a reduction of 10% in kilometres driven by the remaining internal combustion engine cars. IEA members hold emergency stockpiles of 1.5 billion barrels of oil. Yesterday's IEA announcement of an initial release of 60 million barrels, or 4% of those stockpiles, is equivalent to 2 million barrels a day for 30 days. And this sends a unified and strong message to global oil markets that there will be no shortfall in supplies as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Any disruption of Russian gas supplies would maintain upward pressure on European gas prices, with knock-on effects on electricity prices. In the likely event of any gas supply emergency, there is excellent cooperation between Irish and UK gas system operators. Gas Networks Ireland is the designated National Gas Emergency Manager appointed by the Commission for Regulation of Utilities. GNI prepare a natural gas emergency plan which sets out in detail the procedure for managing a network gas emergency and provides details on the role of GNI as the National Gas Emergency Manager. In the medium to long term, the Department of Environment, Climate and Communications is carrying out a review of security of energy supply of Ireland's electricity and natural gas systems, focusing on a period to 2030 in the context of ensuring a sustainable pathway to net zero emissions by 2050.
Minister, is there a copy of that reply? There's usually a copy.
Yeah, sorry, the department said it will leave it in. I'll give this to...
Yeah, thank you very much.